back, everybody. Thank you for joining us on the E14 podcast. There she is.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to E14 podcast. As I shake the video camera as I settle in here.
You can spill a drink, though. That's important.
Of course not. I'm a sailor. I'm Jamie Britt.
I'm Heath Britt.
And we are so excited to have you back. Cheers to episode 2. We're very excited about today's topic. Before we get started, let's go ahead and do our disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed here on the E14 podcast are those of our own. They do not reflect the United States Navy in any way or our respective commands. So
take it or leave it. Hopefully we don't make anybody mad. We get a disclaimer. It's important.
Yeah. So I want to show everyone. I don't know if you could see it. Our nice drinking glasses. No, you can't see it.
It says
Senior Chief Bo Cephas. You want to tell?
Oh, Bo Cephas. Well, I'm not getting too much into it, but when I was going through chief season, that when I made chief or selected, they gave me a nickname, Bo Cephas. That's Hank Williams Jr.'s nickname. And I sang a lot of Hank Williams Jr. song that year, and I like to think I was pretty good. I probably wasn't very good. But in my own mind, I was great.
Well, at least you're living the legend. Carrying on the legend.
Well, yeah. They don't. It's not used anymore. But on my first ship, it was used a lot. So my first ship, I was a chief.
So we didn't go into that the last episode. Let's go ahead and let everyone know that you are a senior chief. Been in for how?
24 and some change.
Almost 25 years.
Yeah, I lost count.
This is why we always pre-record our episodes. He can't be trusted.
Go rogue.
After 24 years of naval service and old crusty senior chief, we have to pre-record our episodes. We do not have a bleep button.
No, we should invest in one though.
We should.
I think it might save us from a lawsuit one day.
So, in the event that he says something that is off kilter,
But hey, in my defense though, I'm pretty good. We only had to record twice last time.
Yeah.
Just twice. I was counting the first one. So the first time, second one went a lot smoother.
Yeah, I had to tell you what you could and could not say, but he's getting used to it. He's not in the public eye much. He's salty. How many years of sea duty do you have?
13 or so.
Yeah, 13 years of salty sailor. Okay, so if you can imagine, there's a lot of beep.
I've sailed the 7 seas, me matey.
Yeah, so that is how we became E14 is, he is the senior chief E8. I am a first class E6, and we added them together to bring you E14 podcast.
E14. Yeah, we're right. Cool. Yeah. We're good. You did math right this time. I used a calculator.
Sailor math.
Sailor math.
On the calculator. So we're really excited about the topic that we have to bring to you today. Awesome. And, of course, we always stem this off of our real life situations and conversations that we have in our home. And then we bring it to you just to maybe help, to give you hope, offer some ideas that maybe you hadn't thought of. And
definitely, that's what's great about this is that we're not preaching to you because we're not perfect.
No, we're preaching to ourselves.
Yes. So this is us talking. Basically, we're letting you in on self. You got, get up, dust off, and keep going.
Yeah. So today we want to talk about avoiding, what is it? How to avoid broaching. We even forgot our title. How to avoid broaching. So for those non-nautical people like myself, no pen. Well, for those non-nautical people, I'm at Airedale, air traffic control. What is broached? Can you tell us?
Broach is basically go back to the old Navy days selling, and then even present day with the sailboats, people do recreational. Basically, when you hit heavy seas, heavy wind, when you're not controlling your own heading. Basically, the elements are controlling which way your boat goes for you, which is not a good thing because it usually goes where you don't want to go.
So you're sailing and wind.
The wind, the waves, the wind can lift your boat up
And then
Get the rudders out, and no matter how much you turn that ship on the helm, the rudders aren't doing anything. It's the wind and the waves are pushing you in the direction
that they want you
they
to
want
go.
you to go. It's usually not where you want to go.
So there's broach, and then there's broaching.
I'm gonna pull up the.
Yeah, broaching has a little different meaning.
But I'm gonna read it and then we'll talk about it. Is when the boat heels too far to one side or capsizes. The boat falls on its ear, the bow driving into the direction of the wind. The mast tips sideways, forcing the sails to sweep the water surface or submerge. A broach can shred sails and toss crewmen overboard. Okay, so broaching. Basically, and you can Google this, you'll see it at sailboat. I did it myself. But basically, you're moving, the wind pushes so you're going like this. The wind might push you on that side, and you're actually either underwater, part of your boat's underwater, or touching the surface of the water. Now, we can see how that'd be dangerous because, you could
lead to capsizing.
Also, just that dragging will knock people overboard, and that's really bad in heavy seas that cause a lot of drowning. And then, or it could destroy a really expensive boat.
Yeah.
That side.
And slow your progress moving forward. If you could even call that moving forward, because you're in the wrong direction.
Right.
You're on the side.
Right.
And you're going whatever way the wind is taking you.
So you might be moving in a forward direction, but it's not where you want to go.
Right.
Because obviously you don't want to go forward that way.
No.
So
no.
And you can cause a lot of a wake of destruction in your path going that direction.
So yeah. So we brought you this topic today, avoiding broaching it, because with everything that's going on in the world today, with things that are going on in our life, there was a lot of outside factors that were causing us to go off course. They were causing us to tip over and keep us from our goals moving forward in the direction that we wanted to go to. And so without getting into too many details, we actually had gone through a very personal experience this last week. And for 3 days, I kid you not, I canceled my podcasts, canceled my plans with my friends on Saturday night, and just kind of, I didn't study for my exam.
Let's talk about that exam thing.
Yeah. So the point that I'm getting to is that because all of this stuff was going around outside, I shut down my growth internally. Mm-hmm. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
Something that I could not control. It's actually somebody else's actions that did not affect me. Their actions, I shut down. I didn't grow from this, Mm-hmm. I didn't go see my friends. I didn't get on the Savage Squad podcast because I just didn't feel like being on camera. I didn't get on my exercise channel, the CFL exercise channel, and I completely shut down.
And the Savage Squad had a really great guest on it this
I know.
Friday,
and I was so looking forward to talking with him, a motivational speaker. And so it was actually somebody else that caused me to get off of course. So their actions. Yeah. And so many times you may do this and you don't even know. I remember as a young air traffic controller, I'll tell a story that I can give details on. Yeah. We had the civilian who was a retired air traffic controller in flight planning. And I was just a young air traffic, AC3 maybe. And I was learning flight planning soup. And this is where the pilots go to plan out their flight, make sure they plot it all right on the map. And he told me, I don't think females should be air traffic controllers. He said, y'all have a lot of emotion in your voice and you don't have a very commanding voice on the air. Yeah. And I remember as a young air traffic controller thinking like, well, I just signed up for like 5 years of this, so you better take me. But I remember thinking that. And at first, when I first started training in the radar room, I was nervous to speak because of what he said. I was nervous to speak, that I didn't have the commanding voice, that the pilots weren't going to listen to me, that, I had too much emotion, or maybe they could sense the nervousness over the air.
Right.
And so I froze.
Yeah.
I remember the first time, and the instructor that I was working with, he was like, talk,
Yeah.
and I was like, I don't know. It's nothing was coming out of my mouth. And I froze based on what this guy told me. He told me that. No. It's so, how crazy is that? I deterred my forward momentum, my goals of getting, I think it was final control, getting final control qualified, because of what this guy said. And he didn't know me from anybody. He just was expressing whatever it is he thought. And I let him get in my head, and I couldn't talk. And, of course I overcame it, and ended up getting final control and moving on from that. But the point is that from that very moment, that very beginning where I could have been moving forward, I didn't. I froze.
But I want to flip that coin, okay?
Yeah.
Final control, that's what, 8-10 miles in?
10, yeah.
10 miles in, so the par, right?
Yeah.
What did the pilot tell you about your controlling ability on the par?
So
This is what I'm talking about.
As I got qualified, as I, started working on my own, there was actually a really, really, really bad weather day, and I was at Corpus Christi. It was really bad weather. I don't remember what was coming in. I don't know if it was hurricane season. It was a long time ago, because I've been in for 15 years now, so you have to forgive me. But it was just like fog. Sometimes in Corpus, that fog would just come in with no warning. Okay. And so it came in one night, and they couldn't see the deck at all. They could not see anything. And, by this time I had run hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of successful approaches. So for me, it was nothing. But for them, my voice, the calmness of my voice, the softness of my voice was soothing, because they were nervous.
So instead of being a hindrance with your female voice or whatever it is, it actually helped that pilot control his nerves.
It actually did, yeah.
Successful landing in bad weather. And he was a young ensign, right?
He was, and then even the instructor pilot in the back, because it's a training. It's a training base, so you always have your student pilot and then your instructor in the back. They were like, "Thank you so much," because we couldn't see anything. They couldn't see the deck. They couldn't see the field, and they said, "Your calm voice and your at that point I had confidence, that your confidence helped us."
And the thing about Corpus Christi being that close, South Texas, they get some hellacious storms.
Yeah, it wasn't a storm. I believe it was just that weird fog that just.
Oh, okay. They get all the time.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
It's real humid there. So it was at that moment that I realized, man, that guy was so wrong. He was so wrong. He was off.
By a landslide.
But rewind to my first day on final, he got in my head. And how many times have we let somebody say something and kept us from being great? Or we let somebody else's actions keep us from being great?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Have you ever had that?
Yeah. I mean, so coming first year, my first duty in the Navy was on the ship Abraham Lincoln. And it was, when you jump on that ship, it was like, crazy. Like, this is broken. That is, it's a big carrier. So there's a lot of people, a lot of equipment. I remember them fly from 0700 at 3 a.m, something crazy like that, out to sea, and working hard. I mean, never, not sleeping a whole bunch. Not because they wouldn't let you, because you took pride and you wanted to see a problem through until it was fixed. So fast forward, I did 4.5 years on there, and I went to Corpus Christi. Also, it was pre Jamie.
Yeah.
But it was 02.
A lot of things in his naval career were pre.
I think I was at E5 when we graduated high school. But anyway, I get to Corpus, and everybody's like lackadaisy. Not everybody.
Yeah.
Some of the people in my shop were lackadaisy, like there was broken stuff, and they were like, sure, dude. We'll get it. You know what? I think for about 2 days, I fell into that. I just couldn't do it. There's broke stuff that needs to be fixed. And then we ended up getting some other leadership in that believed what I believed,
Yeah.
and I full forward. But I ain't gonna lie, for a couple of days after 4.5 years of all hands on deck, beating yourself up, working 18-hour days. That easy life sounded pretty good. You're just tired.
Well,
And,
and the culture or the environment that you walked into,
oh, it was like that.
It was like, why
Right.
fix it?
What's
the need?
In defense to people that worked there with me, a lot of that was right before their time. When they got there, it was a whole culture change.
Right before their time, they fell into the old culture that was like, why fix it? Yep. Why fix it? And then here we are.
Or not why fix it, but don't kill yourself.
Oh, don't kill yourself.
Don't rush it. It's sorted, right?
Yeah, that island time.
And I couldn't do it. A couple of days, I just felt guilty. But when I finally started working on it and really getting knee deep in it, then you know what? That's contagious.
But you told me about that poster you saw about the fish.
Oh yeah, I saw this. I think I saw it on this show, Fargo. I think Fargo, the movie Fargo. This guy walks in the basement, and honestly, I didn't see it at first. A good buddy of mine pointed it out to me. It was a whole bunch of poster of these fish say they're going left. Oh, okay. There's a poster full of fish going left, and there's one little fish going right, and it says, "Which one is right?" Is it to go with the crowd, or the one guy saying, "No, I don't like the way the crowd's going. I don't believe in that. I'm gonna go the other way."
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it was at first, but then everybody jumped on board. It's like instead of just me working behind whatever was radar, whatever it was, I look around. There's like 3 or 4 or 5 people working with me. But once the job is done and the stuff is fixed, life is easy. It is short. Mm-hmm. You just maintain it. If it breaks, all right, you got 1 broken instead of 5 broken. Let's pull it back here. Let's work on it. All right, it's fixed. Roll it back.
But you had to change that culture. Yeah, you had to be the fish.
I don't think it was just me. It was a lot because you got a good friend of mine, retired senior chief, came in and he was a young chief, and I was a second class. He came in with that same mentality. I mean, he threw his coveralls on and was working with us.
Yeah,
that's how important it was for him to do that, and we got it up. We did it, all of us together. We did it. Because I don't think it would change with just me. It's a group effort to get all that done. And then one more story.
No, that's
about you. And then we talked the last time was about limitations, but this kind of set limits on yourself. But this kind of the same way. If you're telling yourself,
ooh, I didn't think about
that you're not good enough or whatever it is. So I remember being a first class or second class. You have dreams of making rank and way above what you are. I've seen all these great first classes, and I can name them off. I'm not going to, but really guys I looked up to, and girls that I looked up to, ladies that were awesome. Yes, baby, you're gonna make it. Like that. But as a younger sailor, younger Navy guy, I said, why are those guys not making it? What makes me think that I'm good enough to do it?
Like you're saying that they're so great.
If they can't do it,
if they can't pick up the rank,
what makes me think I can?
Ooh.
That actually, and that's been years ago, at least 10 to 15 years ago. And I still remember that, thinking that thought, what makes me great? But, eventually you got to be like, look, I'm just going to do my best and let the cards fall how they will.
Yeah.
And you see what happens. And that's what I did. And it worked out pretty good. Just putting those away and just like busting your butt, doing the best you can. Work as hard as you can possibly work and hope people notice. Yeah. That's all you can do at the end of the day.
It's so true, because last week we talked about deep sixing your limits and not standing in your own way. But this week it seems that all these other outside entities, even like you said, even looking at those people and saying, well, if they can't do it, why can I? Which is standing in your own way. But in addition to that, it is also like, comparing yourself to other people.
Instead of that guy telling you your voice is too soft or whatever, you're telling yourself, my voice is too soft.
They'll never respect me.
It doesn't matter where it comes from, outside or inside your own head. it can affect you in a
Yeah.
negative way.
And then we start to lean and we start to drag
Yeah,
and we start to get off course.
definitely.
And we have really had to do some self-reflection, especially me within the last 3 days. I've had to do some self-reflection and figure out how to overcome this. Because when I say frozen, here I am frozen yet again. Haven't studied for my exam in the last 2 days, 3
You're
days.
online now.
Huh?
You're online in front of the camera.
I did make it online.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. But how do you overcome this? Okay? How do you overcome the outside forces messing with your course?
And wouldn't you think we wrote some notes down? I'll read the first one if that's okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Ask yourself, am I on course?
Yes, that's true. Because, like we said before, you could be moving forward, but it's not in a direction that you want to go. So the wind could have blown you off. You're leaning over, and you may be moving forward.
To a brick wall, maybe, but you're moving forward.
Well, like this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm moving forward. Is it going to help me make chief? Nope. I still got to get on that course. I'm not on course yet. And I'm going to tell you right here in front of God and everybody in the nation, I'm not on course yet, but I am moving. I'm making course corrections. I'm moving forward at least, but like you said, you have to ask yourself, am I on course? And I just had to ask myself that in real time now. Am I on course? No, I'm not.
Full disclosure.
Real life.
So yeah, ask yourself the hard questions. If you've ever been in charge of anybody, sometimes you gotta ask those ladies and men that work for you. Are you where you want to be?
Mm.
Are you doing the right things? And the military is a little more intrusive than the civilian life. I'm assuming. I don't know. You can tell me more.
It is.
But you got to ask those hard questions. It's harder to look yourself in the mirror. I hate mirrors because I got to look myself in the mirror, and that's hard to do sometimes. So ask yourself those hard questions, like Jamie said.
Yeah, and a lot of times, and I'll add this to that first question: am I on course? A lot of times, we lie to ourselves. So be truthful. Mm-hmm. You'll say, "Yeah, I'm on course. I'm doing this. I printed out the notes. I'm on course." That's not on course. Okay, on course is getting past all of that lying to yourself and playing around and really getting down to the business, which I promise you I will do. But it is, getting down to the business, not I made this, I did this today. I printed out my bibs.
Freedom is different.
Yeah, no, that's not on course. That's not getting yourself on course. That's, like you said, making course corrections. Great. Course corrections are great.
They're great.
But they're still not picking you up off that lean or off that, what you call it, heel, or cause the ship to heel or tip over.
You're not correcting your broaching incident.
Right.
But remember, it is. I'm not saying you sit on your laurels all day and not do anything, but it is a marathon, not a race.
That's true.
So, but don't let life pass you by.
Right.
All right.
If you can correct a little more, what I'm saying is don't fool yourself into saying, well, I printed out these notes for my exam and that's good enough for today, because darn well it's not. You can do more. Whatever your.
Don't wait till the storm's over.
No. So the next one we're gonna do is
what made me lean?
What made me lean? So recognizing what made you.
What made you? What caused the broaching?
Yeah, it's half the battle.
Exactly.
It really is half the battle. What was it that got you to get off course? What was it that got you to lean over and dip into the water? What was it? Because if you don't do this, if you skip this step, which we almost skipped it, but if you skip this step,
we'll get it out later.
If you skip it, it is, if you don't understand what made you lean, it could come back and make you lean again.
got to understand what caused the issue.
Mm-hmm.
That stops you, that got you off direction with where you were going.
Because how can you combat that? You know, how can you combat that later on if you don't know what it was?
Exactly. And some of it's obvious, but some of it's not so obvious.
Like we've talked about, like fitness, for example. If you got off course because you hurt your knee, well, duh, I hurt my knee. That, like, duh. But you know, sometimes it's not as obvious. Sometimes it's maybe somebody said something to you, and you're like,
"Wow, you've been working out for 3 months. I don't see no gains."
And you're like, well, what? I'm not going to work out anymore. Well, what good does that do?
I guarantee you won't see no gains if you stop. Or if your run time doesn't improve, it doesn't. It's not definitely not going to improve if you stop. I guarantee you that. Mm-hmm. It doesn't get better just sitting on the couch eating potato chips. I promise you.
Yeah, we've done it.
I've tried. It doesn't work.
Real life experience.
Yeah, I've done it.
Okay, now we can get into
how can I correct it?
How can you correct it? So now these are the hard-hitting questions. Yeah. You know that you were in a pickle. Right. You know you're off course. You know what it was that made you off course. Now we have to figure out how you can correct it and bring that ship up right and start guiding you towards the direction you want to go.
Not where everybody else wants you to go.
Yeah. And so that's the story that you were going to tell.
I was going to tell it. Luckily she stopped me, but it felt like a good segue. I was wrong. That's why she's in charge.
No, go ahead.
No, you tell it better than I think.
Okay, so
I like
all right, so we were in church today, and our preacher was talking about Hurricane Katrina and his his dealings with Hurricane Katrina, and so he stayed through the storm. And for those of you that don't know, we're here in Louisiana. We've got the New Orleans harbor right behind us. We're just outside of New Orleans.
We're so savory.
Back to the subject. Sorry. All right. So he was talking about Hurricane Katrina, and he decided to stay through the storm. Now, during the storm, he had water flowing through his house, a couple of feet of water flowing through his house. And he told his wife, as soon as these waters start receding, we're going to work. And that struck me because I thought, you know what? A lot of times we wait for the storm to pass. Whatever storm we're in, we wait for it to pass, and then we start making changes. Mm-hmm. We start making corrections, and we start trying to fix the damage that the storm has caused. But he started working through the storm. And so their carpets bubbled up. You wouldn't tell it how their carpets bubbled up?
It was bubbled up like it looked like,
or floating.
It was like a magician was there, like you were watching a magic show, because the water would come in and cause air bubbles. It would just lift up. He said it was the darndest thing he ever seen. He never would imagine carpet would do that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was just bubbling up, almost like
air pockets coming up under it.
It was levitating in the air. It was crazy. He said it was nuts.
Yeah. So anyway, when water saturates your carpets, of course, it makes it heavy. And so he said, he told his wife, as soon as the water start receding, we're going to work. As soon as it got down to a couple of inches, he started cutting his carpet and making strips so that they can pull that carpet out.
I guess he said the strips were about that wide, but about 12 foot long. Mm-hmm.
So that would have weighed about 100, 150 pounds, mm-hmm. maybe even 200 pounds soaking wet. And so what they did was they used the storm water that was flowing through their house.
Just about 6 to 7 inches instead of 2 to 3
they used that to carry the carpet out.
He said his daughter was pulling it out.
Yeah, his 7-year-old daughter was pulling it out. And I thought, man, he worked in the storm. He figured out how to make the storm work for him. Yeah. And that's what he challenged us to do, is to figure out how to make the storm work for us. And that is something that I'm still working on. How am I going to make this storm work for me? I have a couple of ideas, but if you are in a storm, if you are struggling, we're going to challenge you to figure out how to make the storm work for you. And I just think that's so amazing.
Great. It's so amazing, because if anybody ever told me, or if anybody ever said, I've never wait for the storm to end before I did anything, they're a liar. because I've done it. I was like, man, I don't feel like dealing with this right now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
I'm just
hide
gonna
under the covers.
hide under the cover until this thing's over with, and I'll come out.
Yeah, I'll figure it out later.
And when we say storm, obviously we're figuratively speaking,
Uh-huh.
not just Hurricane Katrina, but anything you're going through. Let's just wait for this to pass, and we'll attack it. Maybe sometimes it's better to attack it while it's happening.
Well, if he would have waited, let's go into that.
Yeah, it's true.
If he would have waited for the hurricane to pass and all the waters to hit, he would have had soggy carpets, and they'd have been heavy. He wouldn't have been able to pick them up. He'd have had to have several men. He'd have to have machinery possibly in his house picking up that. But his 7-year-old daughter was able to take it out with the water.
Yeah. And we're definitely not here to tell you how to deal with your issues, but it's something to think about, food for thought.
We're not certified. All we know is that the storms of life, we're battling them. And that struck me because I was like, how are we going to figure out how to make this storm?
I tell you, when he told me that, my ears perked up. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I never thought of it, but that's definitely a real life situation that happened that it speaks volumes on a lot of stuff what people's going through today.
Mm-hmm.
It relates.
It does. It does. Even when you're broaching in a ship, you can still use that backstay to go into the downwind.
There's ways to
bring your ship back upright while you're in the storm. So I guess that's our challenge.
Right. Don't wait till the storm's over. Attack it head on.
And do good.
And pull yourself out of it.
And continue towards your goals. Don't be happy to go forward in a different direction. Right. And just if you are leaning, if you are feeling like you are about to capsize, there's hope.
Because think about it. There's some symptoms, I guess, or ways to know if you're falling away from your goals. Like one of the big one is something you were doing that you took great enjoyment of, that whatever is working out, whatever it was, it could be anything, and now it's a tasking. It's a annoying tasking. You might want to reevaluate and do one of these steps. Either ask yourself, am I on course? What made you lean? And how do I get back on correct your course? Get back on course, because that's a telltale sign right there. That's
you're right.
Textbook.
Yeah.
So that's a good way to tell. Like I know, like when I took a couple weeks off working out because of work, and I try to get back into it. I was like, dang, I can't get over to work. I would stay and drink coffee and talk to you, hang out with Jamie, and but I got to do it right. Give Jamie, we'll talk an hour, and then I'm working out after that hour.
Yeah.
And that's usually why. That's why we get up so early. But because it was not something I looked forward to doing. But after I did it a few times, you got to push through. You got to power through it. But after you get through that initial stage of being annoyed, it becomes like it was before.
Yeah.
So not easy, but it's doable.
That's a great telltale. If you did have a goal and all of a sudden it becomes a chore, start asking yourself those questions. But, like we mentioned before, we are not professionals in any way. We just offer our life experience and what we have seen and what we have dealt with and how we are dealing with it. And we hope that it helps you.
We're not shrinks. We're not counselors of any sort. We just have a lot of life experiences between like 40 years of
naval service. Yeah.
Almost. So, like I said, we I think we give some good advice, and
if you have any advice to offer us, please email us at e14podcast@gmail.com. No tap, just e14podcast@gmail.com. Message us, comment, and offer your advice. We'll read it here on our podcast, and talk about it, or offer your story, offer whatever it is you're going through, so that we can all just get stronger and learn from each other.
We're all growing together here, so it takes a little bit of everybody to improve. So definitely, if you have any ideas, please hit us up. And if you have a story you'd like us to share, please let us know.
Yeah. And as always, we thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
And hope you have a great week.